this is Lottie Ferris Knowles with the Hollywood Times, and I'm here today interviewing filmmakers Colton Mastro and Eric Jankowitz about their new, forgotten, and soon to be classic giallo short film entitled The Seeing Eye Dog Who Saw Too Much, which is premiering this month at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, which is very exciting. Congratulations and welcome, guys.
Hey,
Thank
hi
you.
Lottie. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And Eric, you are the writer director, correct?
hmm
And Colton, you produced, and
I did.
you also both have roles in the film,
Oh
correct?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah.
Excellent. Well, I will tell the audience that if you are not a fan of giallo or you don't know what giallo is, do one of you want to explain to the audience very
Eric,
briefly?
take it away,
Sure.
Eric.
Giallo is a subgenre of cinema that comes from Italy. They're based off of these pulpy crime novels, which are loosely titled giallos because their covers are yellow, and they
Mm.
are these Agatha Christie style murder mysteries where a black leather gloved killer is murdering all the most beautiful women in Rome, and an unlikely detective, like a musician or a writer or a painter, has to solve the murders because the police are completely incompetent through some cockamamie piece of technology. Like, we visited a scientist who saw into the brain of a raven or a fly in order to catch the killer at the opera, and the raven pecks the detective's eyes out.
Right.
Actual premises, by the way. He's not just
Oh,
making those up.
absolutely. Yes, opera being one of my favorites, yes, of the
That's
genre.
probably my favorite too.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah, and they started kind of early 60s with the director Mario Bava was probably one of the very like Blood and
hmm
Black Lace, probably one of the very first ones, and kind of continued petering out through the early 90s, correct? And you guys are bringing it back, which I
Oh
think
yeah.
it's time. It is time for a revival. So when did either or both of you, I don't know if you were already friends or prior to that, tell me briefly when you each or together discovered Giallo and how did it sort of hit you?
I discovered it a few years ago only. I had been a fan of Dario Argento's Suspiria. I watched that when I was in college and thought it was incredible, but that was sort of where my Italian horror began and ended. Um, and it wasn't until I'm obviously a Quentin Tarantino, Eli Roth, Rob Zombie, that Robert Rodriguez sort of obsessive, and I've listened to every single minute of interview that you could listen to with those guys, and
Right.
so I sort of they don't know it, but they've sort of led me down this giallo path where I believe I watched Deep Red
Mm.
first, and then realized that this was the greatest watch of all time that you could have with your friends. It's so bad it's good. It's so good it's good. It's so great it's good. The artistry, the costumes are all Giorgio Armani. The score are all like Riz Ortolani and Ennio Morricone.
Mm.
And as a lover of, like, quote unquote cinema, Stanley Kubrick, all those things, this is like a way more fun version of high art that's actually kind of pulpy and trashy, but with done
Yeah.
with such reverence. So I basically watched all of them. There's
Yeah.
hundreds of them. I basically watched all of them, and instead of just being like, "Great, I watched all the Jalos. I'm such a fan," I go, "All right, I have to make one." And so
Yeah.
I wrote one to purposely make for cheap and star all of my friends so I could just kill them on screen just to have some fun. And
And what
so,
an honor for them, let me say. What
Uh,
an honor.
yes. So I very quickly enlisted one Colton Mastro, and I was like, "Have you heard of Dario Argento and Deep Red?" And he was like, "No, what's that?" And I go, "Just watch this, and then read the script that I wrote, and then we can
Nice.
take it from there."
That's
yeah,
fantastic. So,
yeah.
Eric, so you then were like bringing Colton into the cult, and then even more so to, create
Exactly.
this
You
film.
you nailed it on the head. Yeah, I had a similar experience with I said seen Suspiria, right? Didn't really
Yeah,
I loved it, but didn't understand what it was what genre it was coming from, the
right.
giallo. And Eric had been telling me about it. So when he brought me the script, I was like, and I started watching a lot more. The ones he like gave me a list, I was like, okay, yes. I just whirled through them.
Yeah, yeah.
I had the same love that he had, like the just how you see it, it just feels so different than everything else. And with the cinematography being so good on top of it, just being like
Right.
there's moments where you see someone get killed and you're like, that was clearly a doll, but I still loved it. It's like,
Right.
yeah. And
Yeah,
so
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it
he,
is a crazy mix, right? Because you mentioned in, the press materials too, like, at the kind of low end, besides the sleaziness of some of them, there's also the dubbing, which, regardless of what language these films are in, they are dubbed poorly and
yep,
bizarrely. I also love the ones with children where they're clearly dubbed by adults, just kind of
adults.
barely trying to,
Yeah,
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 a
but
lot of the
then,
Fulci ones are all
oh God, oh
yeah,
my God, one of my favorite filmmakers.
we
And
we
yeah, and then you have, on the high end, like you said, the cinematography, the settings, the Goblin and oh God, Claudio Simonetti, right?
Simonetti,
That's
yeah.
yeah. This incredible music that you can just listen to off, without watching the film and
oh yeah.
get
Yeah, yeah.
get a vibe.
It's funny you say the dubbing part because we had a couple people when they were watching it the first time kind of being like, it was like a little off. And we were like, yeah, yeah, yeah. We
Yes,
Yeah.
know.
it is.
We know. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
when we sent it to get QC'd at to have the DCP made
Right?
for all the film festivals, they came back very quickly with a 10
like,
page
ooh.
list of like, okay, so your sync is off in 100 million parts, and we're like, that's on
Yeah.
purpose.
That
Yeah,
is
that's on
on
purpose.
purpose.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
keep
you
Yeah,
that
have to
one.
like
Yeah,
break it down and then send
exactly.
them off to watch
Yep.
Fred and a million other.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah,
when he brought me that, I mean, I was like, yeah, absolutely. I think we do need to bring this. And Eric has a comedy background, and so do I. So just we wanted to kind of bring up that comedic aspect of it a little bit, just kind of
yeah,
like the giallo old school Italian murder mystery horror meets like a Naked Gun airplane style comedy,
right.
and like 'cause it already has those aspects in it. So when Eric brought me that,
Absolutely.
I was like, yep, yep. And he
Yeah.
edited it too, by the way. So it's like
Oh, very cool. Yes.
full range with that guy, and yeah, so thank
Yeah,
you for the
it
kind
is
words, we're happy.
fantastically made. You've really hit it on the head. So tell me a little bit about, Eric, when did you write the script? How long did it take you? And then when did you start shooting and all that kind of good stuff?
I want to say it was early last year, right, Colton?
Nice.
Like January,
Yeah, yeah,
February or
it
something
was
like that.
January, yeah, beginning, like right in the beginning of the new year, you're like, I got this, and I was like, all right, let's get it down. And then we right from there just went straight into pre-production. We've worked with our DP before on stuff, Blake Gayton,
Cool.
so we brought him in the mix and just like, what are we gonna need, like make this look like a film, like the same style. And then started instantly going into where we're gonna get the funding and then where we're
Mhm.
gonna shoot, and just right away because we were just excited about it. I think, right, that was my overall feeling, and we were just going at it, just me and Eric, every coffee shop around LA. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, it took me like maybe like a month to write. Like, I think I purposely wanted it to play at in short blocks at film
Yeah.
festivals. So I was like, I'm not making this longer than 17 pages.
Yeah.
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 And so, from my background where I've written a bunch of features before and a bunch of TV pilots and have sold things and not sold things, like this was actually like a breeze to be like, oh great, 17 pages. This is cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're
And
writing it
we,
for you to make, to have total creative control, to cast your friends. So yeah, it's a super freeing kind of thing.
oh
And I
yeah.
also love how you have not exactly Blair Witch style, but you have created this extra sort of layer of the mythology of this lost footage. You've got, Enrico Januzzi instead of Eric Jankowitz, all these Italian names for all the cast and crew. So it's sort of like, Eric Jankowitz is Enrico Januzzi as, so
Yeah.
you almost need like a little flow chart. But so,
Yeah.
so that was really fun. Was that something you kind of already had in your mind that you wanted to be part of it when you started?
Yes. Because the Giallo movies were all feature length back
Hmm.
in the day, so they wouldn't really have made a short film
Right.
of a Giallo. So I think it was like it was sort of a big question mark as to like I knew on the surface what I wanted. I want everyone to have Italian names. I wanted it to be found footage from I think we kept saying like it was like as if someone in 2025 found some old film canisters in a Roman dumpster. And then
Right.
Yep.
we said, "What is this?" And then the lore expanded from there, which was okay. Colton and I work for WBAZ Films, which is a sort of Janus Films, Criterion
Right,
style,
right.
what's it, what, restoration house that
Yes.
found that found the film reels in the dumpster on vacation, and then we realized that this was meant to be a feature, but because the production was so riddled with problems. Like
People
the
dying. Yeah.
dog was biting
Yes.
everyone. Everyone
Right.
got sick. The Enrico Janucci's father, Sergio Januzzi, actually pulled funding, and so like this movie
Right.
just never got made. And then Enrico Januzzi died in 1985, where he was struck by a train in Palermo.
Right.
So and then he was sort of the embarrassment of the Italian, cinema
Yeah.
Right.
elite, where guys like Fellini would call it the Januzzi curse if you couldn't get
Yes, the
something made.
Januzzi curse. Yes,
Yep.
Yes.
exactly. Yes.
Back to production too. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that just to finish your question, like it was 3 days, 3 long days in
Wow.
Northridge. And then we in Northridge, and then the science one was the only other location. So when we were,
Mhm.
yeah, when we were pre-production, we are like, we got to find one place that looks like 1970s Rome apartment. And finally, after just days of searching, we found this place, and we're like, yeah, Sherwood Studios is what it's called, but it's
Mhm.
a husband and wife that just set decked their whole house to look like that, and it really was. Yeah, so like, can we spray blood around your house? Would that be, yeah, is that gonna be okay? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All the practical effects were so much fun. Anytime we would like go to have that scene shot, the whole crew would be like, ooh, everyone
Yeah.
coming in and be like, we want to watch this part. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's so much fun. I mean,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
well, I really hope, honestly, that this makes it also in front of some of the eyes of your idols, especially Tarantino.
Oh my God.
He loves all that, and I think that he would really appreciate this. I think that you're
We
going to
hope
have
so too.
yeah, I think you're going
Yeah.
to have a tremendous reaction at South by Southwest. And I know you can't announce a lot of others, but I suspect there is going to be some going around the country, maybe even the world,
Yeah. Yeah, we
with
got
it.
like 6 or 7 at this point. And
Nice.
yeah, like I wish we could tell, yeah, say we, but you
Of
know how it
course. Yeah.
goes. You've been around with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do. We think it will be here and hopefully in Europe somewhere as well. Yeah.
Yeah. God, I hope Roma, Palermo, somewhere. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I hope they
Our
don't
lips
find
to
my
their ears.
accent offensive. That my fake crappy accent.
I would hope they would find it very funny and
Yeah, yeah.
endearing, but yeah, that would be kind of the icing on the cake if you could take it there.
Truly.
And so I assume your website will be updated with future festival screenings. So if people want to, kind of keep checking in and see if it's coming near them, and tell us the website URL.
The Seeing Eye Dog Who Saw Too Much.com.
That is easy. Can I say
Yeah,
even
right.
the title and the title treatment, like the complication of that title is also like so there's
Yeah.
always,
Yeah, well,
you know,
that's what's fun about the Giallo movies because of all the translations. There's the Red Queen kills 7 times, or what
yes.
have you done to Solange,
Yeah.
or your vice is a locked room and only I have the key. And
Yes,
I'm like,
yes.
well, I can't. And people have so far, just have been like, you're not going to name it that, right? It's really long and clunky. I
Or
go, yes, I am.
Yes, I
that's the
am.
idea. Yeah.
Let me say, as somebody who really knows and loves the genre, the love you have for it is very apparent. But I also think for people who don't know Giallo, that your short is kind of the perfect gateway drug, if I may say, to get people into watching that genre. And if they take to your film, hopefully they'll go explore. And well, congratulations, you guys. And again, can't wait to see what you do next. Can't wait to see where you play this next, and can't wait to see the feature version of The Seeing Eye Dog Who Saw Too Much. Go check it out if you can. You'll love it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.